All right, as promised, today we're going to be looking at why Tucker Carlson is more dangerous than Candace Owens or Candy Owens. And I think many of you may actually go, well, Jay, Candy Owens is the number one podcast in the world. She is leading a lot more people astray. Wouldn't it make more sense that Candy Owens is more dangerous? Well, I would have to go, no. Uh, Lots of people can see, I'll have you know, that Candy Owens is incredibly unhinged. Her loyal following, her cult like following, is dropping off. It may not seem like it because she's got the, millions of people following her. And it seems like that's growing day by day. But in the same token, there are still lots of people that are falling off that used to follow her and are waking up and realizing, hey, she's nuts. She's unhinged. And that is actually a good thing. It's a positive thing that Candy Owens is showing us exactly who she is. Now, sure, there are people that are watching her because they are engrossed in the cult or they're obsessed with what she has to say. But there are also lots of people that are fed up with her. They can realize, well, I'm tired of her conspiracy theory narratives, her lies. It's just non-stop. Whereas Tucker Carlson, on the other hand, he's quite charismatic. Now, granted, Candy has the ability to talk. She can make up bullcrap from thin air. That is clear as day. Anyone that can make bullcrap up like it's coming out of thin air and get your attention is definitely talented. But they've created that talent purely based in lies. And if you cannot see that, maybe you should get a mental health check and you should see what's going on in your own life. Now, sure, this narrative of, well, you can't trust the government. Why would we trust the government? Look, I don't trust the government either. I don't. But it doesn't mean I come up with these crazy conspiratorial narratives that the government is involved in killing everyone or any famous person or Charlie Kirk, which is exactly what Candy Owens is doing. I think her latest theory is going after Britney Spears, saying that Britney Spears is involved now. I mean, completely left field, isn't it? So what about Tucker Carlson? Tucker is very charismatic. The guy knows how to speak. He's been doing it for a very long time. He knows what he's saying. He knows. When you go from one extreme to the next, you know exactly what you're doing, don't you? And he's speaking at all of these major rallies, isn't he? He spoke at Charlie Kirk's memorial. He's still invited to do these talks. And recently he had on, as we know, Nick Fuentes. He did it after Charlie died because he knew exactly what Charlie thought of it, about Nick, how Charlie would never platform someone like Nick. But Tucker doesn't care. See, Tucker will put a person online, act like he doesn't know anything, and then purport to go, well, I'm just a dummy. I'm the dummy. You tell me. You educate me. He'll let them talk. No pushback unless he disagrees with you. Because he pushed back with Piers Morgan and he pushed back with Ted Cruz. So the reason why Tucker is incredibly dangerous is because, number one, he knows exactly what he's trying to do. Trying to shift the narrative. Trying to act like he is a Christian when his behavior says otherwise. And then secondly, he'll gaslight the living daylights out of everyone. Now, I saw this video, and this is the reason why I decided to make this video in the first place. It's from Dr. David Wood. I've been watching quite a bit of his stuff of late. The man is very intelligent, and I do enjoy his content. And I want to show you this. Have a watch of what he has to say.
Imagine the ultimate Bible teacher, someone who knows the Old Testament and New Testament from memory, in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. Suppose he knows every commentary that's ever been written, backwards and forwards. He knows what every rabbi and every church father said about every passage, and he can answer any question you have about any passage in the Bible. Sounds good, right? What if he uses that knowledge to start a cult with him at the center of the universe? No one would be able to correct or refute him because he would use his immense knowledge to justify anything he said or any behavior, no matter how depraved. Who could stand against him? Now for something everyone wants. Something that has to be good. Surely it's always good to have a following. Think about Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. Candace has one of the biggest podcasts on the planet, sometimes the biggest. But she comes across as a bit unhinged.
Every person who speaks about Israel has to basically say a statement that's like, I don't want to get killed. like literally, speaking about it, people are like, Candace, beef up your security. That's not fucking normal. Excuse my language, but that is not normal. Okay. The way that you get comfortable with it is you're like, they shot JFK in an open car. So there's not, he was a sitting president. Obviously my security doesn't really matter. If they want me, they're going to get me. I just want to be clear. Anything happens to me, blame the Zionists. 1000% blame the Zionists. Let that be my parting words. Okay. Andrew Tate said something that really stuck with me. He was just like, at the end of the day, they're just going to rip your kids last.
Guess what? It's good that she comes across as a bit unhinged, because that's a warning sign to lots of people. Candace can still get a huge crowd watching because she's drawing viewers from the entire world. And there are tons of people in the world who are really into conspiracy theories. But people who aren't just dying to hear Candace's latest conspiracy theory have been walking away from the lunacy.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
They're getting sick of it and losing interest. So, Candace will lead a lot of people to some completely deranged ideas, but she would actually be more dangerous if she didn't come across as crazy to so many people. In other words, there are people who've stopped watching Candace. They say, I used to love Candace. I had to stop watching because she's so unhinged. But it's actually good that she's so unhinged, because if she wasn't, she'd be deceiving even more people. Her dangerous ideas would be harder to spot. This is why Tucker Carlson is actually more dangerous than Candace. Tucker still speaks at huge conservative events. Tucker spoke at Charlie Kirk's memorial.
And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I could just hear him say, I've got an idea, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem.
Why do we see Tucker at these events, but not Candace? Because Tucker seems less crazy. He's less crazy, so he's less of a risk and less of a threat. He's much safer, so he can speak at all the events. That's weird to me because I see things the exact opposite. The crazier someone is, the less dangerous he seems to me because he's easier to spot. I can't imagine Kanye doing too much damage because everyone knows Kanye is crazy. Tucker, by contrast, is going to lead a lot more conservatives and a lot more Christians down a horrible path because they trust him. He doesn't come at you screaming like a lunatic. He nudges. He slowly nudges day after day, week after week, until you're heading in a completely different direction and you can't even figure out how or why you changed course. There are endless examples here, but let's go with an easy one. In 2025, Tucker's been slowly convincing his followers that Islam is good and that Sharia isn't nearly as bad as its critics claim.
He's like, you know what Islam means? Submission. And let it hang in the air. That was self-evidently disgusting. And I was like, I kind of think submission to God is the whole point of life, but I didn't say anything. I was like, I don't think I'm against that, actually. But you should know, Seth, that the real danger is Sharia law. Sharia law. And you can tell when you go to a place like Abu Dhabi or Riyadh, oh man, I hope we don't ever wind up with a society like this with a rate of 0 where you leave your keys in your Lamborghini and don't ever worry about it being stolen. And, if people want to get wasted, they do it at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't.
Boy, I hope we don't wind up with that.
When people complain about the treatment of women and girls in Afghanistan, where little girls are being married off to much older men, and girls can't go to school past the age of 12 so they don't learn to think, and women can't even speak or show their faces outside their homes, Tucker mocks the concerns.
The Taliban, we hear so much about the Taliban's oppression of women and making music illegal, and they do those things. However,
I never understood why I was supposed to give a shit about that. I mean, I want everyone to be free just as a matter of principle, but that didn't, whether people can, girls can get PhDs in feminist studies or whatever, is of less concern to me, right?
Why should we care if women can't get PhDs in feminist studies? Is that what anyone was complaining about? Look, if you want to say, hey, it's not our country, we don't control the rest of the world, so let's stay out of it, that's one thing. But to pretend that what's going on with women and girls in Afghanistan is just a bunch of whining about not being able to get doctorates in gender studies, and to get conservatives and Christians to see the situation that way, that seems completely, utterly, totally evil to me. But conservatives and Christians will slowly warm up to Islamic law because Tucker is going to slowly, gently nudge them in that direction. He's going to deceive more people because he's much more careful about it. So, bad qualities attached to an evil will can actually be good in a weird way because they can help you spot the evil. Good qualities attached to an evil will are bad. All right. Have we learned anything yet? Let's find out. Pop quiz. If the devil comes up to you right now, what's he going to say? Is he going to say, A, hi, I'm the devil, and I want to bring you and everyone around you to hell? Or B, hi, I'm your greatest ally. You're very special to me. I want the best for you. So know that you can always trust me. Let's work together and change the world. Now, let me tell you who your real enemies are. What's the devil going to say?
Tucker has created this trust network, hasn't he? He's acting stupid. He's acting like he doesn't know anything. But then when it comes down to it, he will push back on those that he vehemently disagrees with. But then all of the stuff that he is talking about, he knows nothing about history. People still trust him, though, because he's Tucker Carlson. And he'll have that horrendous laugh. He'll get you and bring you into the fold and make you want to trust him. And the moment you start trusting him, then he starts feeding you. It's like a drip feed. Whereas Candace, she's a known crazy person. She will just come out outright and say a very provocative thing. If Tucker says something that's very provocative, guaranteed he'll think about it and come back and go, oh, I don't really think that. I was just a bit upset. And the gaslighting will continue. So you've got two gaslighters, Candace and Tucker, but one is more clever than the other. Both are very clever. One's crazy. The other one, not so much. The other one knows that if he can get into your ears and you start trusting him, and to be honest with you, I listen to him all the time. I used to listen to Tucker and go, well, he's actually pretty smart. But then I started noticing patterns. And like David Wood said, the crazy person, sure, they're dangerous, but they're not as dangerous as the one that comes in, acts like something they're actually not, because they lie and they lead that person astray. Little foxes that spoil the vine, right? The wolf in sheep's clothing. So little foxes that spoil the vine have also let in the wolf in sheep's clothing. And people are starting to follow along with someone that doesn't have their best interest at heart, doesn't really act like they're a Christian. And it was quite clear, by their fruits you shall know them. There's a reason why it says that. So I think we have to have more Christians that are discerning. Not just that, but we should pray for wisdom surrounding these sorts of people. because the space is quite big, isn't it? They have massive audiences. And for Candace, if you steer her wrong in any kind of way, or if you say anything bad about Candace, she will attack. Tucker, if you say anything bad about him, he will accuse and attack. Then he'll be very sly and act like he's the victim. He'll change things around. Now, Candace also will attack and act like she's the victim, and she'll also lie. But less people trust her. More people trust Tucker. In fact, when it comes down to the actual truth about who's dodging a debate between Ben and Tucker, most people believe that Tucker is the one that is in the right and Ben's the one that's dodging. Even though Ben showed actual evidence that Tucker's dodging. Because Ben has asked multiple times, Tucker hasn't. And Tucker will just go on Megyn Kelly and say he doesn't hate Ben Shapiro, and then continuously on other podcasts go after and attack Ben's character and Ben's person. So that's what I mean. We've got to be very, very careful because Tucker can do a lot more damage, especially to the mainstream conservatism. And when you start platforming the likes of Nick Fuentes, I really do worry. Everyone's going, well, what's wrong with platforming people like Nick Fuentes? Doesn't mean that we should be platforming people like Nick Fuentes. We can. We definitely can. We have the ability to. Doesn't mean it's right. I think people need to realize that there's a massive distinction between what's right and what's wrong. Seems like they don't care about what's wrong nowadays because good has now become evil and evil has now become good. And guess who is pushing that? Candace and Tucker. And by the way, if anyone says they get attacked by a demon in their sleep, I would be very cautious, especially after they start changing their opinions on pretty much everything. Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.